Hey everyone, what is going on? This is Wilson, and in this interview, I interviewed Stephen Du, who is a trader that made over 1.5 million just last year and bought a McLaren off it. He's a Tim Sky student, and I hope you guys enjoyed this interview and learned a little bit more about it. You're Asian, so that's the whole point.
That's the whole point. All
Yeah.
right, go
All
ahead.
right. All right. Cool. All right. Let me hit the start button to record. All right. Hey, Steven. Thanks for doing this interview. I got Steven here with me. He's a student of Tim Sykes. Made millions over trading penny stocks, shorting stocks, doing everything in the stock market. He's probably one of the best veterans in the game. He's Asian like me, and as well as he drives a McLaren. He's made more than millions. So, Steven, how's your day going today?
It's pretty good. Made around $10,000 today.
Damn, $10,000 in one day, man. This is insane. That's insane, right? What kind of stocks do you get into today?
I got into CLSN and I got into that breakout. Actually around $3, and I knew people are shorting around 280. So once shorts start covering their positions to even out their positions, I know that dip will hold. So I went long around 330 and sold around 550-ish.
I mean, that was a crazy run today. Nobody expected that. It was a similar run to I think it was ECYT, right? Is that the ticker for yesterday?
Yes.
Where the same exact thing happened, and exactly right after the market closed, you made a tweet and you were like, "This is not the stock to short," right?
Yep.
I thought that was amazing. But talking about shorting, do you recommend shorting stocks more or going long? Because I've seen your patterns, I've looked up your trades. I've been following you for a while, and you tend to short a lot more than you go long. How come?
Um, Typically, when you are shorting, you do have a really tight risk management. So you actually know how much you will be making, and you know what's the target price you want to be covering. So it's a little bit more predictable than going long. But I wouldn't say long is a little bit more risky in my opinion. But it has more reward. So if you're going long, you can make over 100% of your positions. But if you're going short, you can only make 100% of your positions. Typically, when you're short, you can make 30% of its gain of your original investment. That's pretty good. But if you're going long, you can make over 200, 300% return in one day, especially in penny stocks.
Gotcha. So that's why you prefer more doing shorts than long, right?
Correct.
Right. So what is some of like the biggest mistakes that you see a lot of traders make when it comes to shorting stocks?
They're not respecting their risk level. So let me be, for example, so shorting CLSN today was a decent breakout. It's trading with massive volume right now, and this is not ordinary volume. So you have to be very careful because when you are shorting a stock, only 10% people are shorting the stock.
Right.
90% people cannot short, so they're going long. And when the market, when it's a low flow, and there's a certain amount of supply and there's so much demand because there's such big volume, and people will buy that thing, and the short seller will get run over. And if you're not be really clear with your risk level, and you just hold short and start adding and adding and adding, that will be an entire disaster. You will blow your account in a single day. So that's something you need to be really careful as a short sellers. And when you want to short a stock, you want to get a stock it's overextended, very very overextended. You don't want to short in the first green day. That's one of the biggest rule for me, uh, to not short for the first green day.
So don't short in the beginning of the day. Or do you
Yeah.
mean like don't short in the first day when the stock starts to pump up? Like for example, biotech stocks, we've been seeing this all the time, especially in the recent couple of weeks, or like AI stocks where it just explodes and trends upward like crazy, right? Do you not recommend shorting on the first day that peak happens, that breakout happens?
Yes, you don't want to short when the stock is start breaking out with good news and it's a low flow and it has so much potential to go up, even though there's resistance ahead, but you don't want to go risk that because the first green day is always bullish, and if there's a resistance overhead, that's bearish. Bullish factor plus bearish factors, that's a conflict. So you don't want to go into a stock with a guessing game. You do want the odds favored uh, either in short side or long side.
Right.
So
Makes a lot of sense. So usually on the days where the first breakout happens, momentum kicks up, volume starts driving like crazy, and it's a low flow stock, like the crazy ones that we've been seeing recently, like HMMY, IZEA, like CSLN today. How do you like to play the first breakout day of the spike where the volume kicks in?
so most of the time at market opens, that's the most profitable time you can get. Uh, Typically, when you see as a COSN today, you, in the morning you took out that morning high around 2:15 ish. And yes, you know now if you're late, that's completely all right. And if you see the stock already had you prove yourself, you can spike all the way to 260, come back down to 70, 237, come back down again to 238. So you know the stock is forming some kind of bottom. And first, the stock can spike. Second, it's forming bottoms. It's on good news. Everything's bullish. That's the time you can go long, and you can make a lot of money on just by following the trend.
Gotcha, gotcha. So follow the trend, follow what's going on, and making sure it has good news, right? But isn't it kind of scary sometimes when it gets to that point, a new high, and you're worried that it will just get shorted like crazy, like you will get crushed by shorts, and you don't know when to exit. Like, do you usually set some stop loss, or what are some tips that you have for that situation?
Okay, there's some tips because sometimes stocking always goes against you. So before you do anything or anything in life, you have to think what's the worst case scenario that can happen. So now, if the stock took out that 237, I would be cutting my losses. If I'm risking 20 cents, now my maximum loss it's $1,000. I will be going in with 5,000 shares. If that risk broke, I know exactly what I'm gonna lose, and I'm comfortable losing this amount of money because the odds is such in my favor. I know how much I'm gonna lose. If I cut it, if I need to cut it, I cut it. Um, I'm comfortable with it. That's how you're supposed to do when you're trading a stock. You have to be comfortable with your loss. You have to always aiming on the better odds. Then you write your profits.
Got it. So have really good risk management solutions, right? And that's why I always tell everyone, dude, make sure you know what you're getting into, manage your risk, right? That's probably the most important thing in trading every single day because you will have your down days, right? You will have days where you pick stocks that go down and stocks that go up. So now back to the trade at CSLN today. Like for me, when I got in the trade, as I told you, I got in right when the market opened and on the first dip, right, which was in like the low twos, and then I drove it up to before just a little bit under three, and I sold. Right, I took my profit. But you mentioned that you decided to get in at three, which was I think probably at least like 2 hours after the market opened. Were you like waiting to see the trend first, or did you just miss the stock?
In the morning, I was focused on IZEA. I made some profit. I made around $3,000 on that, but I didn't really fully focus on COSN. Some people mentioned it, but I didn't pay full attention on it. So after I'm done with COSN and after I'm done with IZEA, I came back down to COSN, and I noticed there is a great dip opportunities I can took around 3:30 ish, and I took it. Um, but well, but for me, my recommendation is when the market is open, I want to wait for 5 minutes until the market decide which way it's gonna go. Then I just follow the trend because in the first 5 minutes it's so unstable. It can go up and down. You don't know where it's gonna land. Let the stock prove itself first. Then you go in.
Gotcha. So basically, you just like to watch the beginning, and you're not like one of those people that jumps right in at the very beginning, right?
Yes, there's always chance in the market, you can always make money. Why do you have to be hurried now 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's true, right? Especially when there's so many stocks to trade every single day, right? So how
Yeah.
do you get started in trading? Like, I mean, like, do you just decide to one day put $500 in the account, the minimum deposit, and then just go like, hey man, let's give this thing a try, or what happens?
I would first when I got into trading, I got really frustrated with school. Like I was getting very good grades. I don't think I'm like yes, I'm getting good grades. I feel good, but I don't think I'm accomplishing everything, like anything. So I want to find something to do, and I follow Tim Sykes. I see, oh, there he has a nice car, stuff like that. I want a nice car. Everybody wants a nice car,
Right.
and I would say, okay, I would just give it a shot. And I bought one of his books and read about it. I think it's pretty legit, so I jumped in with his strategies, and yeah, actually, I was pretty lucky, uh, and I was learning a lot, learning every single day. I think this is going to work for me, and I love trading. That's my passion. Um, that's how I got into it, and I started developing my own strategy, putting everybody's strategies together, figure out what's the best way to trade the stocks. In either either you can um, switch your positions, doing wave bouncing. What's the most efficiency method to trade a certain stock to make the most money off it? And I've started tracking my data, and my trading methods started getting better and better and better, and that's why I'm here now.
Gotcha. So how much have you made so far? Like, you don't have to give us exact numbers, just estimate.
Estimate, well, on the official one is 1.2 million, but I'm not releasing the real number
Oh, of
until
course, of
I can.
course, of course. But
Yeah,
1.2 million
1.2 million.
is really impressive, and that's over the course of how long?
About 1 year, maybe 1 year and a half, 1 year and a half or less.
Wow, 1 year and a half or less. Wow. And you started with how many?
27,000.
That is insane. I'm pretty sure a lot of listeners right now are like banging their heads because they're not even making 5K a month, right? So I mean that's great, dude. And what was your biggest loss?
What's my biggest loss?
Yeah, in the trade.
I think it was 40K on something.
40K? Damn.
Yes, 40,000 GLSE because I was going in with 200,000 positions. So when you try to trade those losses, $40,000 equal that yes, equal a decent amount of that $200,000 positions, but I was going in with a really good odds, really good risk reward level. But well, it turns out it didn't work out. I was trying bigger positions. Well, my biggest gain was pretty big as well. My biggest gain is always bigger than biggest loss. So
So yeah, that's
if
all it matters, right? It's all about like having like a 2 for 1 or 1 for 2, right? However they call it, right? Like basically,
yes,
you need a really good ratio in order to improve your trades, right? So you
correct.
made 1.2 million. What you use that 1.2 million for?
How do you use it?
A McLaren, right?
Well, one of the McLaren. One's McLaren, one is houses, one is well, building a trading system. Eventually, I want a computer trade it for me. I want to build my strategy into a computer, and the computer can automatically trade for me. But that's the future goal. So
Well, that's the whole point of AIs, right? That's why AI stocks have been blooming, right? That
yeah,
AI is taking over, right? So right now, if you were to recommend some traders for the newer traders to follow and learn from, who would you recommend?
I would say to learn from. Well, you have to learn from all kinds of. You can't just learn from one person. You have to learn from multiple person. That's just me. My personal experience. I learned from different people and different methods. And different person have different like strategies. If you put them together, you can get a better strategy. That's why I didn't just learn from Tim Sykes. I learned from Tim Gortani, by technical analysis, and Michael Good for fundamental analysis. And I believe there's one person called Investor Underground. He's a really good trader, and his long strategies are really, really good. And I learned the risk-reward ratio, risk management from Mark Crook. So you have to learn from multiple people to gain the best experience. And that's just my personal
Right.
opinion.
Right. So I mean, there's a lot of great traders on that property, right? For example, like Superman. I'm a big fan of his swing trades, right? So how come you don't ever swing trade? I've seen all your trades, and you do day trades, right? Is that just because that's what you're comfortable with, or is it just because you feel like that's just not a good way to play it?
Okay, when you do a swing trade, you want to go long trades, but I typically don't
Right.
do long trades. But when you do a swing trade on a short trade, there's too much short interest on the shares. You always pay a bunch of fees for holding overnight. That's something I don't want to. I believe I was shorting DRYS. I paid almost $100,000 fee just shorting tries.
Damn, man, that's like what 100,000 Big Macs right there, bro.
Yep.
You're based in Ohio, so I think it's cheaper to buy a Big Mac over there than in California, where I'm from.
Yep. It's a lot cheaper.
Like over here, it's like $4, man. So. But so if you were to long though, if you were to change your strategy and go a little bit more long, would you do more of these swing trades?
No, I still won't. I'm a big short seller. I understand the short selling methods really, I think, pretty good. So I understand where people will short it, and I can take a full advantage of the newbie short. And when they're covering, they're buying the stock, so I can take full advantage to go long on that short squeeze. That's typically the strategy I'm doing right now. I just take advantage of people short selling or cutting their losses, like today on
Right,
COSN.
right. So basically, you just not too big fan of long, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm not too big fan of long. Yes.
gotcha. So what's your trading setup like right now? Like what's your softwares? What type of tools are you using, etc.?
I do use Stocks to Trade as my platform, Centerpoint as my trading platform. I also use Cobra Trading. They they are cheap. They have cheaper fees, but they don't have shares to short all the time like Centerpoint. Uh, so I used to have Interactive Broker. If you have if your account's over $100,000, you can go reserve shares on Interactive Brokers. But most people in Interactive Broker doesn't have $100,000 shares,
Right.
$100,000 in their account, so they can't reserve shares. For a lower price, I think Cobra or Centerpoint is the best for now.
Right. But for
Cobra is
newbie,
cheaper.
but for
Yeah.
newbie traders, you would recommend like Robinhood, right? Something that's like no
For
commission.
newbie traders, no, I don't recommend Robinhood. I recommend Interactive Broker because Robinhood sometimes takes really bad executions.
Right, right.
I know it's free, but when you want to try to get out at 590 and Robinhood execute out of 620, so that's really bad.
Hey, that goes back to what we were talking about before the interview about how with like E-Trade you have to go into the browser tab and then wait and then click to make the trade, and then what happens is like, oh, the price dropped already, right?
Yep. You do want a platform to trade, correct?
Gotcha. So you recommend like a platform like something like SureTrader that actually has a physical platform on your computer for you to just click buy and sell instantly, right?
Yep, correct.
Gotcha. And that's for more advanced people. But what about your computer setup? What computer are you using right now?
I'm using a lot of computers. I use Microsoft. I use Razer Blade. I use iBuy Power, and I have 3 TVs. So
3 TVs,
uh,
man. That's the crazy one right there, man. Like full screen.
I typically don't use that many screens. I typically only use one screen, but there's too many stocks. I have to use all those screens at the same time.
Right, right. Makes a lot of sense. And you say you don't use MacBook?
I don't use MacBook, but I believe the Stocks Trade and Centerpoint Cobra they all work with MacBook.
Right. So I use Thinkorswim, but I use MacBook, and I mean I know the power of the Windows and all that stuff. But you said you own a Razer Blade, so are you a gamer?
Yes, I'm a gamer, correct.
That's what you do on the weekends, right? Like, when the market isn't
Yes.
open. What's your favorite game?
StarCraft 2.
Oh man, dude, I will crush you, bro. What level are you? I mean, what rank? Like masters?
Uh, I was close to GM
GM?
last year.
We gotta
Yeah.
play, dude. I'm playing remaster right now every single day. Uh, so I mean, I'm a Brew War player, by the way. I played for over 15 years. Um,
I played a long time as well, so.
I'm pretty good, man. I used to play on iCup all the time. But we can talk about that afterwards. We can definitely get a game going, dude. But anyway, so to kind of wrap things up, what are some of like the biggest mistakes you see traders make when they first start off? Like if you can give a trader one advice that will improve their trading like crazy, what would you give them?
uh, don't be emotional. That's something you have to do. Like something you have to improve.
Right.
When you are winning too much for as a beginning traders and you start going all in with every single trade, you will blow your account. You will blow your account right away.
Have you
And
blown your account before, or were you fortunate enough to not blow your
oh, I was really close blowing my account because I was used to be a newbie. Yes, I have a $60,000 account, and my unrealized hit around $58,000. And I was lucky enough to get out really safe and got all my $60,000 back, but that was a really scary experience. So,
Man, that was panic, man. That meant no StarCraft for 5 days in a row, dude. To study charts. Right. But yeah. So if people want to learn from you, are you offering any type of courses for people to buy? What's the best way for people to reach out to you? What do you have?
typically, I don't offer anything.
Okay.
I just don't. I don't offer anything right now, but I probably offer some kind of service uh, after my DVD is out. So my DVD is supposed to come out December and January.
Okay.
But currently, right now, I don't want to accept some students.
Okay.
There's some special, but like I typically don't accept students. Sometimes it just influence my trading.
Of
Um,
course. Fully understood. So for your DVD, can somebody pre-order it right now? Is there a web page I can send them to?
for DVDs, the pre-order is going to come out very soon, but
Okay.
it's not up right now, so
Mhm.
will be up very very soon.
And
I'm probably only not gonna sell that much. There's probably a limited amount of copies you can buy.
oh man,
um,
limited edition, dude. I got reserved me a copy then.
yeah,
Yeah.
but when people are using like everybody is using the same strategy, it's kind of the strategy gets weird, and the winning percentage doesn't get so good. So if there's a limited amount of people using it, then strategy will be pretty much work all the time.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So I guess the best way is for people to stay updated on the DVD and additional information is probably to follow you on Twitter, right?
Yes, follow me on Twitter or Instagram if you wanna get more information about the DVD or the trainings. Um, but yeah, that'd be all.
What's your Twitter for people that's listening?
Twitter will be 1 second.
You don't know your own Twitter handle, bro.
Okay, so it's capital S Steven
Uh-huh.
1_994.
1994. He's a youngin. But anyways, yeah, okay, perfect. So anybody that's looking to get the DVD, or if you want to follow him on Instagram and see some of his StarCraft, rankings, you can follow him on Steven at what 1994. You said it was right.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, Steven, thanks for taking the time to do this interview. I learned a lot personally. I'm sure everyone that listened learned a lot. People just follow Steven on Twitter and best with trading.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Thanks everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this interview, please subscribe to the channel as well as give it a thumbs up. You can follow me on Twitter at is Wilson8, the number 8.